Hello, I'm Voidlust. Today we will be learning how to use Mr Voxel Jr. What is Mr Voxel Jr? Mr Voxel Jr. is a lightweight version of Mr Voxel that is both smaller and costs significantly less resources to place his template. However, this advantage of size and cost comes at a price. Mr Voxel Jr. is not as automated as his larger brother. He takes a bit more work to use, but Mr Voxel Jr. is every bit as useful and can find all the same positions available on Mr Voxel. Now we will show you how he works. Let's quickly get familiar with all the parts of Mr Voxel Jr. Starting on the left, the red, blue, and green buttons are the inputs for our axes. Just like Mr Voxel, each button corresponds to a movement equal to that of one half of the cube shape. The center, or origin of each axis is on the right side of the control panel, and moves out towards the left. Just above the inputs is a small reactor with reference axes. It is important to note, unlike Mr Voxel, the red and blue axes on Mr Voxel Jr. are reversed. You can use this reference reactor to help you visualize your desired voxel and movement, much like the main user interface of Mr Voxel. On the side of the inputs is a red reset button. The reactor in the center on the bottom is the same as the color-coded reactor used for Mr Voxel. This is here as a reference, in order to utilize the custom Mr Voxel Jr. reactors. On the left and right are positioning aids, to help you align the reactor to the corresponding color on the reactor in the center. You will notice that these reactors have a small pink arrow. This arrow is to aid you in keeping track as you change the orientation of the reactors. The left side represents the front of the color-coded reactor, and the right side represents the back. In order to choose the voxel you wish to modify, you simply align the pink arrow to the appropriate position to match the color on the wall. For example, if you wanted to modify the red voxel, you would orient the reactor so that the pink arrow was facing away from you, towards the back colors, and in the lower left position, choosing the red square on the wall. Lastly, we have the Mr Voxel Jr. corner library on the right, along with colored light indicators that represent the values you input to Mr Voxel Jr. It's now time to see Mr Voxel Jr. in action, and learn how to use him. Just like Mr Voxel, the first thing we need to know is which voxel we would like to modify, and where we would like to move it to. Let's use Mr Voxel Jr. to reproduce the voxel we created in the How to Use Mr Voxel tutorial. In that video, we had decided we wanted to move the red voxel. We chose to move it to the middle of the center shape, on the blue axis, as far down as we could go, on the green axis. And we left the voxel in the default position, flush to the inside of the red cube on the reactor, along the red axis. First we will make a copy of our reactor, and align the pink arrow with the red square on the wall. The reason for this is, with the smaller corner library, the corners are oriented to only fit in the purple corner position on the default color-coded reactor. By aligning the pink arrow to the appropriate color on the wall, that moves the color voxel we are trying to modify into the position where the purple voxel was by default. If you feel you do not need the assistance of the pink guide arrow, you can simply use the color-coded reactor and orient it so the color you want to modify is on the front bottom left. Now, we would input the values we decided on earlier for the three axes. The first value was in the center of the blue axis. But remember, on Mr Voxel Jr. the red and the blue axis are reversed. So we will pick the center on the red axis instead, which would be the far right button, since the values increase from right to left. This means that we will be keeping the voxel in its default position on the blue axis now, instead of the red. So we should select the second button from the right on the blue panel. The green axis remains unchanged. So we will select the leftmost button to move the voxel as far down as it will go. We can now go and copy the corner that Mr Voxel Jr. picked for us. We do this by selecting the corner where all three lights intersect. It is easiest to start with the green light. On that row you can drag a selection box between the red and blue lights. Then reduce the selection in both directions to quickly and easily hone in on the corner you are looking for. Once you have found your corner, copy it and bring it back to your reactor. You will want to paste the corner you copied from the library into the front lower left position. This is where the purple cube is on the default color-coded reactor. When using Mr Voxel Jr. you will always be pasting your corner into this location. The only thing left to do is reorient the reactor so it is in its correct default position. We will do this by mirroring the reactor along different axes until the pink arrow is aligned to the default purple position. Please note, you must use mirror. You cannot use rotate. If you use rotate, the corner you are trying to modify will not align properly. Mr Voxel and Mr Voxel Jr. are free to the public. The claim is set up so you can template both versions. There are also pre-made templates in the chests up in the work area. I hope you enjoy Mr Voxel Jr. and find him useful. Thank you for watching. Take care.